What you're staring at right now, guys, that is the potential of what the Pro R can be maxed out. You guys don't realize what I'm working on. If you're coming to this and you have no idea who I am, my name's Jonathan. We have a channel called Off-Road Diaries. I build tons of cool cars for people, and we have family-friendly content. What I'm going to talk to you about today is my personal thoughts on what this is going to be come August 3rd. I think is the date they said, and I want to go over some things with you guys, my thoughts, my predictions, and I want to hear feedback from you guys because I do want to know what y'all think about what's potentially coming, and it's pretty rad. The reason I'm showing you this car is because this car in particular is almost 1,000 horsepower, and that is about what you're getting maximum out of the Pro R. I say that as if it's not a lot, but it's a freaking ton. But I do have some thoughts, and what I did was I went back. Let me sit in my chair. For you guys that don't know, I have a special little chair in my shop that I sit and think about life and figure out how I can become a millionaire instead of a brokenaire. Here's the thing, guys. This motor that's in the Pro R now, although it's naturally aspirated from the factory, it was just made to handle boost. I mean, compression ratio, no, but even with stock engine, you can get 400 to 450 horsepower and just doing these things all day long, or whatever you do, desert ride, whatever. I had to go back 2 months ago, and I highly suggest you guys do that as well. I'll try to put a link in this video for you guys to go watch. If you're not following Frank from G-Life, some patents were released a couple months ago about the potential new car. It doesn't say it's a Pro R, doesn't say anything, but it jumps all over the place, and I'd like to kind of go over that. I may miss some stuff because I don't have the video in front of me, but I just watched it about an hour ago. Because I watched it when he first came out with it, and I was like, lots of patents get dropped, but this is starting to look kind of serious. And, you know, it needed to happen. They need to release a boosted car. And when you watch that commercial, or whatever you want to call it, teaser video, it kind of throws you off a little bit because I'm a big person on sounds. And I know what this Pro R motor sounds like. It's just got a distinct, throaty, kind of deep JDM Honda Civic style sound, if that makes sense. It's imagine putting an intake on a Honda Civic with VTEC. I mean, I'm just going out and saying what I feel like it sounds like a D16 motor, or even the B series motors, where you don't really put an exhaust on it, but you put an intake on it. It just makes this throaty sound, and that's what the Pro R sounds like. Listening to that video, I kept listening. I've watched it over and over and over and over, and I keep hearing it doesn't quite sound CVT, but it doesn't not sound CVT. And that's where the confusion is, guys. And my first thoughts, we're going to try to do this in order. Excuse me, guys, I'm super ADHD, in case you didn't know. I have the attention span of a 1-year-old. In the last 10 seconds, and I fall off the horse, as they say. But my first initial thoughts are going to go towards transmission. And then I'll get into the engine side of it and go from there. Because Frank was able to really break down, and he did such a good job of breaking down the patents without really knowing everything. He's a very smart mechanic, but at the end of the day, it's some things you're just guessing at. And in one of the patents, there was a transmission that had a flywheel on it, which is typically what most automatic transmissions, how they look anyways. They got the flywheel, there's a torque converter, and the flywheel, basically all it really does, for the most part, transmission experts chime in if I'm wrong, is you just use a flywheel. It's got a gear on the end of it, and the starter turns it, and then it's connected to the torque converter and so on, and goes into the transmission. It definitely looked like an automatic transmission to me. Frank had mentioned that maybe it would be going into a snowmobile, which is maybe an interesting point. Typically, when you have the flywheel there, it's butting up dead into the engine itself. It all connects as in one long section. And then typically you get the scenario of the CVT, which on the Pro R they run it side by side. That's why you got your primary, etc. Any CVT setup with a belt, that's how it is. So I have to wonder, you listen to that sound, guys, watch it over and over and over and just listen to it. It doesn't sound like a Pro R engine, and it does not sound like, doesn't completely sell me as a CVT transmission sound either, but they could just throw it in there to mess with us. Definitely a turbo, that's for sure. We're gonna go to the engine part now. I think that's the next part. So the next part's the engine. It's weird because, Frank, I think I want to say I started eating dinner in the middle of watching the video. It looked like it was a 4-cylinder engine in these drawings, but I don't know if I saw the fourth hole or not when you were looking. It was just a rectangle with circles in it. And, you know, I could see the 3-cylinder because it's going to be a shorter block attached to an automatic transmission. That would make sense to me. Where the turbo is, he showed like a teaser picture and there was a turbo there. I don't know if I saw a CVT trans there. I mean, you could technically chain drive automatic transmission and put it in that place if it's a 4-cylinder. But going back to the 3-cylinder, they already have it built. It's already in the 1500 Ranger. So although I'm sure things would change because that's not a high output engine, it wouldn't take much to change internals and then turn around and, you know, create a lot more power out of the engine. Nissan, they have a 1.3 liter, I want to say, that has around 450-ish horsepower. And so you got to think about it, guys, like engine-wise. You can make power out of those 3-cylinders. Are you going to make 900 and something horsepower like the car I just showed you guys? I don't know. I really don't know. And I think that it's like you look at the Maverick R even with Evo trying to do the stroker motor and stuff, like he's only really achieving around 500 and something horsepower. And that's kind of maxed out on that 3-cylinder. And that's impressive numbers. Don't get me wrong. Any 3-cylinder is pushing that power out. That's impressive. It'd probably be lighter. It's a shorter block. You know what I mean? If it's an automatic transmission, that can add weight because you have a lot of fluid in automatic transmissions. The torque converter itself holds a lot of fluid and it's heavy. I just don't know. I really, like I said, I think you guys should go back and watch the video that Frank from G-Life posted about the patents and everything. It's really just a good breakdown of his thought process. It looks like it's going to have a water to air intercooler, which is a smart move on Polaris. A lot of these aftermarket turbo kits, they're not utilizing something like that. Some of them are, but when you're creating high horsepower numbers, you need to control heat. Your intake air temp is super important. For a lot of you guys are wondering, like, who is this guy? If you just tuned in out of nowhere, you don't know who I am. I do have a ridiculous background in engine building. I'm not a tuner by any means, but I can build an engine with the best of them. I've built hundreds of Razor engines, and I've built tons of LSs. I dragged race growing up, so I do have a full understanding of mechanical things and how they work. I've had, you know, crazy, ridiculous high horsepower Evos and all kinds of other stuff. So I love power. But getting back to the engine, I think the biggest thing is you can buy something that's going to have boost and it's going to have a warranty. So this would maybe be the one thing I'd extend my warranty on. And I'm sure the tuners will get a hold of this thing immediately and they will dial this thing to easily over 300 horsepower. My guess is this: 265 to 275 horsepower. I'm hoping for an automatic transmission. If they don't offer automatic transmissions like a ZF style 8-speed automatic, that would be great if they could dial tuning in. I'm not a fan if it's going to be a dual clutch transmission. I have owned some very high horsepower German cars, and I've always seen nothing but problems come out of their transmissions. Like even the Porsche, which is a PDK, and that's probably one of the very few. And the Huracans, you know, which is Audi derived, they lasted a while, but I just get concerned because the Maverick R, although it's not spoken about a ton publicly, I know a lot of friends privately that have lost their transmissions in them. So I do consider that like a huge concern on the behalf of reliability. So like I said, Here's my prediction, and I want to know what you guys' prediction are. This is me just kind of rambling with my thoughts because I'm really excited to see what Polaris is going to do. First part, there's my prediction. Their message read, 1958 astronauts, shot up in the sky, and that's what America basically showed. We got the horsepower to get up to the moon, and I think that's kind of what they're like saying is like to the moon. You know what I mean? And they said now on August 3rd, we're gonna keep that thing going and show them what horsepower is. That's the gist of it. But you can read what it says, or I put it on the screen or whatever. And so they're letting you know it's time for us to show you where the power is coming from. And it's my prediction is 265 to 285 horsepower. My prediction on transmission is I hope it's an automatic, although Frank did show in that video they had a thing that said CVT in it, and it was drawing all these lines on a diagram going everywhere. So probably a CVT, although the sound of it, I just listened to it over and over. It's almost like it was changing gears, downshift, upshift, downshift. It didn't really sound like a quick rev to 9,000 RPM or 8,000, whatever. So I have to wonder, is that the case? Frank did show in his video, they do have a heat exchanger in the back, which makes sense. You know what I mean? Like if you put a heat exchanger in front of the radiator, they did that in the Turbo S, but the car didn't have enough power really to just create crazy heat. The turbo was small, so heat exchanger in the rear. There's ducting shooting to that heat exchanger. It looks like there's ducting that goes into one single air filter, and it comes from both sides. And then I don't know. You've got the Ultra that came out with the Quick Connect sway bar links and that computer controlled sway system. Is that going to be something that's going to be standard on it? Is there going to be trim levels like Sport, Premium, Ultimate? I think there will be, because some people just want the power. They don't care so much about suspension. I like suspension. I don't know. I just supercharged my Pro R, and when I'm done and everything, it's gonna be around 400 to 450 horsepower once I'm done with what I'm doing to it. I don't know. And is it something that's gonna convince me, okay, I need to go grab a two-seater? There's so many things that'll come into play, and I'll keep you guys updated as the news comes out. But anyways, like I said, I think if they do three-cylinder, it's gonna suck, because you're only going to get so much power out of those, but it'll be great for the average dooner who just wants more power. And I don't know if you'll ever get more than 500 horsepower out of it, but honestly, I've never needed more than 400 horsepower, and I felt great in the dunes. Honestly, you have fun in the dunes at 150 horsepower. So that's my thoughts. What this video is really about is just sharing some of my points of view, because I have lots of clues that I've been given. I can't say certain things on video. I can just give you guesses, but I also want to know your thoughts on it, guys. Is this something you'd be interested in if it was a 285 horsepower car out of the box with a turbo and everything, and you could tune it and get over 300 horsepower? Would you buy it? What if it's $60,000? You know what I'm saying? Would you still buy it? These machines at price-wise are starting to get ridiculous. I've taken many of these machines apart. I can tell you how cheaply that they're mostly built. Some things are built really great. The frames on the Pro Rs are stout. The suspension is stout. They can take a lot of brutal hits. But then you look at that, it's all just plastic that's covered up with pretty parts. So guys, I'd like to know your thoughts, and let's hope it's a 4-cylinder with a turbo and not a 3. But I do think that for the average dooner that just wants more power, I think it's going to be a great option for you if it is a 3-cylinder. And you can still make more power out of it, I'm sure. And overall, let's hope it's under 50 grand. Is it going to be a Pro S with a 3-cylinder turbo in it that comes out to stop the crowd? Or is it going to be a Pro R? I looked at those pictures. The Pro Rs, you can look on that one. You see how the rear end is actually slightly longer. And then on the Turbo or Pro S's, excuse me, and the what replaced the Turbo R, they're shorter in the back. They don't have that rear diff in the rear end to need to extend that frame in the rear. I don't know. All I know now is my anxiety's through the roof because I can't wait to see it. So comment below, guys. Give me your opinion. Tell me I'm an idiot. I don't care because I just don't care what anybody thinks about me. Or tell me I'm genius for all these predictions. I probably won't hear the genius thing. But I do want to hear y'all's opinion. I'm going to go edit this video really quick, drop it, upload it. You guys have an awesome morning, day, or night. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do. We ride in the dunes. We do all kinds of stuff. We're ambassadors for UTV Takeover. And I built some really cool cars in my little shop here. And I can't wait for you to see this car. I'm actually, tomorrow's video is going to be about this car. So otherwise, I hope you guys have a great one. Thanks for stopping on our channel. There is a wife portion and my little 2-year-old son also, if you've never watched our videos. So other than that, see you guys on the next one, which will be tomorrow, Friday, 6 a.m. Bye.